Here's a great gift you can make. It involves taking a click pin and replacing the body with two 30-06 shell casings. It'll look simple when we're done, but there's a whole lot of steps involved. Let's get started. We're going to start out by chucking one shell into this lathe, and we're going to use an 11/32 drill bit to cut the primer side out. Now the plus side to using a lathe as opposed to a regular drill press is that the hole cut in the shell will always be centered. If you can see that right there. And we're going to do that twice. Here's our pen. We're going to take it apart. We have to get a few measurements off of it. So we'll start out by unscrewing this metal tip here, pulling out the ink, and then we have to separate the top with a knife. Be very careful when you're doing this. But basically you're going to press it down and separate it apart. There we go. Now we have a bunch of pieces that came out of this. We have the part there that clips to your pocket. We have the part that pushes on the pen. We have another piece that holds everything together. And then we have a spring and another part of the mechanism that helps out with the clicking. Don't lose any of that. Here's our tube. We have to get some measurements off of it, but before we do that we have to remove this rubberized coating. We're going to do that by heating it with a heat gun. Once it's hot enough, we're going to take this regular paper towel and we're going to wipe it off. There we go. And then here's the residue that came off of it. As far as measurements, you want to make sure you know this outside diameter right here. Let's turn on our caliper. And it's 8.2. And then you want the length of the entire pen tube. And here we have just under 119. Keep those in mind. Okay, then use your tubing cutters and cut off the very end of the pen right there. There we go. And don't lose that either. We're back at our lathe. We're going to use this tool here. It's a tapered shaft, and I have a marking where I know I need it to stop. We're going to chuck that into the tail quill, and then we're going to take our shell that we've already drilled the back out of, and we're going to place it onto the shaft. And what we're going to do here is expand out the neck until it'll accept that 8.2 millimeter piece of plastic that we cut off of the pen body. Keep going, keep going. There, I've touched the line. Back off just a little bit. I'm going to open up my lathe, chuck it close, and then separate it from the shaft. There we go. And now you see, compared to one that has been expanded, it's a little bit bigger. And we're getting closer to fitting in our little plastic piece right there. Alright. Now the second shell we're going to expand as well, but we don't want to expand it too much. We just want it so that it's not loose in the back of the other shell. Here are our two expanded shells, and we want to solder these two together, but as you can see, it's just a little bit too big to fit in the back. Now that's exactly how we want it, because we want a tight fit, and what we're going to do is round over the edges on this upper shell. And the tool we're going to use here is a doming block. It's just a steel block with a bunch of half spheres machined out of it, and what we're going to do is take this and just hit it down into one of these holes and round over the edges. I'll spare you the noise, but take a look at the pictures to see what it looks like. Alright, I've round over the edges, and now it'll fit fairly snugly. We want this to be exactly the same length as the pen body. which was just under 119 millimeters. Just like that. So we have our pen, it's the right length, but the issue is making sure that we solder it straight. If I roll this, you can see that it's just a little bit wobbly. We don't want that. So here's how we fix it. We have our future pen body installed into the lathe, and on the other side we have a live center. And what we're going to do is turn this at a low revolution, and we're going to bring this forward and center up the pen. There we go. Now we're going to take it out and get it soldered. Here's our pen body. Flux is already applied and there's some solder around the joint. We just need some heat. There we go. Now we're going to start polishing the body with 1000 grit sandpaper. We're going to do that to both sides. Here's the drill press. We have a buffing wheel chucked in. We're going to put some polishing compound on it and get the pen body shined up. And you can start to see how the shine is put on as opposed to the side that hasn't been buffed at all. Now we're going to start gluing up our pen. What we're going to do is take this little plastic insert that's also been machined, and we're going to place it onto the metal writing tip. And what we're going to do is take some hot glue and glue it right into the tip of the pen. But the secret is, you can't have cold brass, so we're going to heat it up with this heat gun. Now that that's warmed up, we're going to take our pen insert, put some hot glue on it, and then we're going to slip it on in. And we're going to use some pressure to push down on it. The excess will clean off after it solidifies. We're going to do the same with the other end, but we want to make sure that we put everything together. So put that push piece inside that housing, the spring and the other piece, and then the pocket clip. And if you need to file that down a little bit, do that to make sure that it fits in. Again, make sure that this is warmed up. Then we're going to put some glue and set it on in. Little twist action on the way in there, and press it down. Make sure you keep the pressure until the glue solidifies. Alright, we're just about done. Now we just need to install the pen ink tube. Unscrew that. Put it on in. If the mechanism is not lined up at the bottom, just shake it a little bit and it should fall into place. Install the tip, and there you have it. One rifle shell click pen. Good luck.